Okay, welcome to episode 10 of the Zone's All Access, hosted by the Sports Center. All Access is brought to you by our team of marketing partners, our premier partners, Whitaker Insurance, Walker & Walker Construction, Hearthside Bank, J&S Concrete Pumping, Value RX, Tazewell, Tennessee, and Stay and Play Doggy Daycare and more. Our communication is always provided by First Century Bank. Today I have Ian and Jenna here today. Coach and assistant coach at Cumberland Gap in the Panthers soccer team. So, you ready to get with it? Let's get started. Mm-hmm. Okay, talk about yourself a bit. Where are you both from, and did you play sports of any kind?
Yeah, so originally I was born in England. Moved over here, was it 17 years ago now? I played soccer. And also through this, if I accidentally call it football, you'll just have to forgive me because where I'm from, we call it football.
Football?
Yeah.
Yes.
I played soccer my entire life up until I started going out in the real world and working. Didn't have time for it anymore. I played for what we call Sunday League, which is travel team, and then I played for my school as well. But I also played squash, which is an indoor racket sport, kind of like racquetball.
Yeah.
That was actually my sport that I was the best in. I played for Lancashire and I had trials for England as well at that. So that's my athletic background anyway. What got me into coaching actually was Jenna, because I used to work on ships and I wouldn't off all the time, and she was the one who actually started coaching soccer first. You want to?
Yeah, so I'm actually local. I'm from Tazewell, and I did not play sports growing up. I am 100% a grassroots coach. I never played sports. I was a musician always, but never an athlete, not until I was older.
We heard his story, but what's your story about why did you decide you wanted to coach?
So out of necessity.
Okay. Yeah.
So my son turned 3, and like most people who get into soccer where we live, we started in AYSO, which is American Youth Soccer Organization. And I started coaching when he was around 3 years old, and he had one season under another coach. And then when that coach moved on with his son, our team was without a coach. And I just said, how hard can it be to coach little ones? And I started there, and I just kept coaching. And then when our daughter came along 3 years after my son, Ian kind of took over with my son's team, and I picked up with hers, and we just kept going ever since.
Okay, it's players. That's really what makes a soccer club. What are the most important quality of a soccer player or football player to you?
I think it's the same with any sport, honestly. What makes a truly great player at any sport is the love for the sport. But you can have somebody who's good at the sport just because they're interested, right? Mm-hmm. People come out and play all the time but aren't that interested, and they never really become great at it. If you have a love for the sport, that's what will take you to the next level as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I disagree with that. I think love for the sport is the foundation of it. I think there are other characteristics that make a player good. Discipline, willingness to listen, coachability, just effort on the part of the player outside of practice and outside of games. But once again, that all kind of is built on love for the game. If a kid's athletic and they just don't care for soccer, they're probably not going to go very far with it.
Yeah. Doing something outside of practice will always trump just coming to practice with a great attitude. Because, for me, what grew me as a soccer player was not going to practice. It was kicking the ball to and from school. It was playing out in the yard at recess.
The extra effort.
Yeah. But it wasn't, I'm searching for something. It was just I enjoyed kicking the ball around. And we all did it as a pastime. Like everyone here plays basketball or throws a football, we went out and kicked the ball around. So, yeah.
Okay, how do your team, how does it practice, and what drills do you do, and what fun do you throw in during practices?
One of the things that I try to stay away from during in-season practice is too much fitness work. We should really be covering the fitness pre-season. But the way that I try and keep fitness in the practice is to make things competitive. Excuse me. to try and keep things competitive. So have them compete against one another. You'll see the intensity rise up naturally because if nothing else, they just want to beat their teammates, right?
Yeah. This is one of those times where we're going to differ on our opinions, which is it does happen sometimes. So I'm more probably on the conditioning side, and I like things very systematic. So when you show up to a practice with me, things are probably going to be laid out, and you're already going to know what you need to do, and it's just a matter of running through it. So I'm a little more systematic. And as far as throwing fun in, I think, like he was saying, that we do have fun games that are incorporated in practice, and a lot of those I've picked up through my experience with AYSO coaching or grassroots coaching, and just talking to other coaches and making it fun. But when it comes down to it, soccer is such a physically demanding sport. If you want to compete, there is an element of just pure, you got to get on the grind. You just got to drive and, get through those practices that can be a little strenuous and a little tough.
Yeah. I think it's one of the sports where you cover the most ground in a 80 or 90-minute game. You'll cover more ground on a soccer pitch than you will any other sport. So, yeah, you do have to have that physicality about it.
For sure. Okay, we mentioned AYSO. I want to add this question.
Sure.
What did Lori Kimbo mean to soccer in Claiborne County?
Oh, yeah, she did a wonderful job with AYSO. She's actually still involved in AYSO to a certain degree. She's our area director. Yes. Jenna's our regional commissioner for Area 551, and I'm the coach administrator for Region 551. She basically was the one that got us both involved.
She did, yes.
Jenna primarily. Yeah. And she helped us go from just being coaches for individual teams, transitioning into getting licenses to not just coach higher levels, but to train coaches. Yeah. So she's done a hell of a lot of groundwork for us to get out there and do more with soccer.
And encourage us and keep encouraging us. Yeah. She still does a lot of work. Yeah. I mean, I text her regularly.
Without her, I don't think soccer would be as big as it is.
No.
And it's got a long way to go, don't get me wrong. But it's bigger now because of people like Lori.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The framework set in place by AYSO, other volunteers. Kristen Whitaker has been a huge help to me over the time that I've been here. And even now, we don't run AYSO on our own.
Oh, no.
Laura Mann, Adam Mann, they're our treasurer and our CVPA for our region, and they absolutely just help us cover ground. We could not do it on our own.
And we're always looking for additional people to come and join into the fray of AYSO as well to build the grassroots program.
Okay, overall, how does your team best respond this year? Is it a mixture of be kind of calm with them, or is it just yelling at them? What kind of players have you got on this team?
So there's a combination of players, but the majority, to keep the intensity alive, there has to be that little bit more of it's not an aggressive communication, but there has to be more verbal communication from the sideline. Excuse me, because they're not all pure soccer players.
Right.
They're football players, they're tennis players, they're basketball players. So to keep them on the ball and paying attention to what's going on the field, there's a lot more shouting that goes on. As I say, it's not an aggressive shouting; it's just snapping to attention type. But
okay, if you could get any athlete off any team, which team would it be? Would it be football? Would it be baseball? Would it be
to pull into the soccer environment?
Just yank them out and put them into football.
I don't think I've had a baseball player come, because baseball's played at the same time as soccer. So
right, yeah.
I'd like to see a baseball player come out on the soccer pitch, but I don't know how that would translate. I'm any because the numbers are always low, so I'll take any. How about that?
I think that both football players that come to play soccer and basketball players have different advantages. You can spot them. I mean, as soon as they come to play the first time, usually with your football players, you're looking at more assertive players, more driven players. They usually are really willing to get to the ball and really put in the effort that it takes to improve. And
not trying to avoid contact.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things we sometimes have issues with.
You have to roll back.
We have to dial back a little bit because they want to get in there. But our basketball players, If
I would say they've got more tactical awareness.
they do, they have a better vision for the game because I think some of the tactics kind of overlap. They'll use different, verbiage sometimes
Terminology.
and terminology, but and they always make great keepers. So that's that's usually a good switch over.
Okay, what is your greatest strength as a coach? And
I have none.
I want her to tell me the weakness.
Oh, there we go.
His weakness.
No, we haven't got all day.
Let me get my phone.
Let's do the strength first.
Yeah, okay.
My greatest strength as a coach, I would say my technical skills.
Yes, definitely.
Obviously, I've got a lot of experience with the sport, and I feel like it's actually hard to some extent, though, to try and translate what I know from the technical aspect into coaching. A player doesn't always make a great coach, and I think sometimes it's difficult to communicate what I want the kids to do. So yeah, but I'd say my technical and tactical awareness of the game. That's my worst thing.
No, I think I'm going to say you're tactical because sometimes we disagree.
Well, let's not say worst. Let's say your weakness.
Yeah,
as a coach.
Weakness. I don't feel like it's a fair question. That's a loaded question. Weaknesses, I think, sometimes just the cultural overlap. So I think coming to a place where soccer is not second nature.
It's not number one.
It's not number one. And so I think sometimes the assumption that players come in with certain skills or certain vision or certain ideas about the games, and a lot of our players will tell us we just don't watch soccer on TV. We play, but we don't watch it. And so that's not something that we're used to in our home because since our kids were little, that's all we watched because it's our family sport. And so I think probably the expectation sometimes could be an adjustment for you, but the technical abilities.
I'm the same way too. I don't really watch soccer a whole lot until it comes to international soccer and Olympics and stuff like that. Then I really get into it. Yeah. How is the team unity, and how are you going about developing team unity?
So I would say at the beginning of the season, it was lacking.
Mm-hmm.
It's come a long way.
It has to be, to a point. There's so many different players. You're trying to.
We have a lot of new kids come through.
Different athletes.
We've had some. Actually, we have a senior who's never played before who's come in. So that's a big adjustment. We've come a long way. We've connected more as a team, and I think that my choice of captains has something to do with that. And I've actually put some of that responsibility on the captains because, as far as the way that I see what a captain is, it's an extension of the coach out on the field, and although it's a burden to him or them, it's a necessary thing to have someone to bring the team together. That's not me. Yeah, they're the good cop, if you will, and I'm the bad cop.
I will say I think it's been difficult with Lori stepping down last year with Matt Neverstick. He was an anchor at Cumberland Gap Soccer for a long time.
Yeah.
With those stepping down in the past year, and then also with Kristen Whitaker stepping down with AYSO, there's been a huge shift this year in soccer at Cumberland Gap and in the Harrogate area. Yeah. And so I think it's probably, if we're going to have a challenging year, I'm hoping that this would have been the most challenging one. And if that's the case, it's gone pretty seamless. I mean, to watch those boys with each other now and the way they communicate and the way they care for each other, ramp each other up, it's something to see versus, maybe some things that I've seen in previous years.
You're quite a long distance into this season, but what is the ultimate goal or what's your vision how the team can end up?
So the district that we're in is pretty competitive. We play against some teams that are next level. Ultimately, within a couple of years, I'm hoping to be able to give those teams a show. Turn up and not be the automatic, we're going to lose to this team, we're going to lose to that team. I don't ever expect to. I'd love to be able to beat these teams, but the pool of talent that they pull from versus the amount of kids that we get to pull from, it's not even a close competition right now. But I think with the right dedication, with the right effort, with the right time spent outside of season doing open sessions, the connection with AY, so I don't see why not. I think we can be competitive with those teams at least.
Okay, we talked about team leadership, but just a little bit. Is there a certain player that comes out on the team that is your leader, your coach on the field?
Yeah, it's my captain. My I won't name drop, but yeah, my captain. He's all heart, and he carries that on to the field every time he plays. So
He's not all hard. He's also athletic, and he's driven, and he's a fantastic leader. He is my idea of the kind of person I would want to lead my kids' team. He's great.
I didn't just mean he's all heart. I just meant that's his main
He's
action.
tough too. Though. Got to give credit where it's due. He's tough.
Why is soccer not catching on? Why is it struggling to gain popularity here in East Tennessee?
It's simply, well, no. My opinion is that it's not understood. The rules, most people, if you ask them what the rules are, they wouldn't know. And then because they don't know the rules, when they go to watch it on the TV, they don't understand it. So it's not entertaining to them. They don't see the entertainment value because they don't understand the rule set. Excuse me. So I think that the barrier between it being part of the social aspect of life and the going out and taking part, it doesn't mesh. People don't see what it's all about. I think that those parents and kids that have been involved from a young age, at AYSO, they come out and they still don't understand it. And as they go year by year, they start to learn more. And then if you speak to some of the parents that have been doing this for 10, 12 years now, they've come to love the sport. It's such an entertaining sport to watch.
I think it's primarily just culture. I mean, you're in the deep South. This is football country, and and that's perfectly fine. But I think it does cause it to be a little bit slower picking up. I think with the influx of people moving here, I think we will see a shift towards soccer, especially World Cup's coming up. I think we'll probably see a boom shortly after that. I think a lot of people it'll pique their interest, and I hope that we're here to kind of channel that in when it comes.
I would say there's something else as well, which has just been introduced into the USL, which is what's called promotion and demotion. So throughout the USL leagues, what's that?
Relegation.
Yeah, relegation. One of the things that we have in all the European countries and basically everywhere else in the world with soccer is in your league, when you fail and you get to the bottom part of the league, you get demoted into the league below you, and then if you get to the top part, you get promoted to the next league. There's financial incentives and also a challenge as well. They're starting to introduce that for USL, which will involve one knocks and our local team. I think that's going to see it to be more competitive, I think, and it may get more interest in it. So,
how do we gain soccer's popularity here in Claiborne County?
The short answer is success. The short answer is success. How do we get to success? And that is the continuation of feeding our grassroots programs. I mean, we've talked a lot about AYSO. I know that, but that really is the center, like it was for me. That's
the foundation.
It's the foundation for all our schools locally. I mean, even Kentucky and Virginia schools. I coached with a coach from Kentucky for 3 years, and so AYSO really is where that begins. So the continuation of education through training programs, refereeing. So some really exciting things that we have going on is some of our youth that have played this sport for years are now coming back to referee. We've just had one that's she's probably 18, 19, come back to coach at AYSO. So we're seeing some of our kids that have gone through under Lori, under Kristen, under Matt, and those they're coming back to help referee and help coach. And so I think that the success will build. It's just slow going.
Yeah, I second everything that she said. It takes the dedication from the parents to help promote it. There's only so much a few of us can do. Right. The more people we can get involved, the more people we can trick into thinking that this is a good idea to come coach, the better off it'll be. Yeah.
Okay. How you get players out of the hallways? I mean, it's a struggle with every sport, and the athletes are there in the school. But how do you get them out of that hallway?
So this is where I really struggled this year because
Every coach does.
I'm not faculty as well, so I have a full-time job to attend to. So I don't always have the time to go into the school, but I didn't realize that the school has specific days once a month where you can go in and communicate with all the students and encourage them to get out there and take part in the team. That team spirit, wanting to be part of something, is a key factor. It's simple things, but this season, we got them a top from here that we could, they could all wear to look the same. We got them training tops and tracksuit bottoms to try and unify them to be part of the team. I know it's simple things, but
it is simple things. That helps.
If that buying of a top or jersey or something like that helps them feel to be part of something, gets them out and running
offers a little bit of pride.
I think that let's do it. But again, to do that, it costs money. It's fundraising. It takes a lot, but it's well worth it in the end.
I think also word of mouth, just making sure that we do our job to keep the kids engaged and give them reasons to want to be there beyond just hanging out, or we give them some kind of development or something that they can take home with them and take into the future with them. My coaches taught me this. My coaches taught me to hang tough when it gets difficult. How to put up with an achy ankle just so that I can take another shot and win for my team. So teaching those things, that perseverance and that execution or that discipline in especially our boys. I think sometimes girls are more built with that kind of drive to do things, but if our young men in our community can come away with those characteristics and they feel like they've become a better person because of what we've done for them as coaches, then hopefully they'll spread that around. It'll get some of their friends involved too.
I think another one that would get them out and taking part more is to get the crowds big. So,
definitely.
Crowd at a football team, crowd at a basketball game, and a basketball game, fantastic. Loads of people there, all screaming and shouting, brilliant. The soccer, not so many. When we do get a couple in the crowd, though, it picks the atmosphere.
But it's like she said earlier, winning.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been over there several times during that year. They went to the girls went to the state tournament there, the state championship game, and they were packed. I mean,
right.
It can be done.
It can,
but you need the players, you need the program in place, you need it to succeed.
Stars to align.
Yeah, along those lines, what does your program, the Panthers soccer program, need?
What do we need? Well, there's always money, right? Money moves things, gets us the equipment that we need. I would like to see a new concession stand for us.
Changing rooms would be nice.
Changing rooms would be really nice.
For sure.
And showers. I mean, those are big goals.
But it shouldn't be. I mean, it's elementary stuff. I mean, it shouldn't be big.
But it seems big. Right?
Yeah, it does.
Because it is expensive, and trying to get funding for those sorts of things, it's hard. Things like the pitch quality, the surface that we play on, it's doing way better than it has in the past. But still, if you go to the grass pitch at LMU, it's that next level. And when you play on a pitch like that, it changes the way that you can play the sport. Then you go and play on places that have got artificial grass or turf, and you can play the sport at a different level because you don't have that bobble, that uneven surface. So, in an ideal world, maybe not turf, but a really pristine.
Your athletic trainer would say no to the turf.
Well,
she wants real grass.
Last year we had somebody go out with an ACL. So I don't like turf. Me personally, I prefer.
But it makes sense for schools.
Yeah, because it's the maintenance side of it. Right?
Yeah. What's the goal of the ultimate goal of this year's team?
So I use Huddle, which is a system that records our games, and I use it to track stats, not just goals. and shots on target, but it's more pass completion, pass attempts, where the possession of the game is, whether it's in our defensive third, middle third, or attacking third. Excuse me. I track those and I compare them to the other team. What's our possession percentage against the opposition?
All right.
I want to see our possession percentage increase. I want to see us possess the ball more in the middle and final third. I want to see those numbers climb as opposed to stagnate, because it shows that the type of game that I want to play is being listened to by the players and they're attempting to achieve that.
Yeah.
So eventually that possession will lead to goals, but ultimately we have to start somewhere, and that those numbers will dictate whether they are in the right position on the field and whether they're doing the things that we've spoke to them about.
And if individuals are improving.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. That's all I was going to say. It's just improvement all around. I mean, we're coming in after a huge legacy, a huge, not being funny, but everybody knows Lori
it's not funny.
And, yeah,
you're right.
And she was soccer around here, so having to fill those shoes, especially on the girls' side, because everyone was so attached to Lori, including me. It's been really daunting. So I think for me, just seeing improvement in the players, improvement in team cohesion, just getting everybody on board and kind of helping them understand where we're coming from and our heart for them and our heart for the team and
supportive of one another and supportive of us as well. I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, and of course the technical stuff like the track and the stats, but we know we're improving on that because we've been watching it over the season. The middle school girls had a great season under me too. We had great success. So the technical improvement is being made. It is there, and so it is working. It's just we just need time with them.
Yeah. How would you rate the middle school? Not a number. Just how is your middle school program?
Middle school program's strong numbers wise. We have plenty of kids that come out that want to play. As they transition into high school, that's where the numbers seem to drop away. We are pretty competitive right now. We only have 4 8th graders, so we have a relatively young middle school team, but we're keeping up with the stronger teams. We had 2 really good showings against Oneida. They've got an older team than us, and they're a pretty good team. But I was happy with the way our boys performed, and I think with a little bit more effort and a little bit more composure, I think that they could probably beat them when we do the championship games.
And our girls' season was back in the fall, but they did really well. I mean, we were second in the district. We only lost to one team the entire season, and the rest of them were pretty good wins. I was proud of them. They tried. The effort was there. They came in. They were ready to work, and it showed.
Who's going to be coaching the girls next year?
The high school girls?
Yeah.
I believe the position is open right now, right?
Open.
Nothing's been decided. I heard that it was open. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know if anything had been put out there or not. All right. My last question, or whatever you want to call it. Panther Nation. What would you want to say to Panther Nation, the community, the school board members, the school in general, to anybody about Cumberland Gap soccer?
Come watch our games. Come watch our home games. I mean, that would be huge for me to see the bleachers full for every game, whether we know it's going to be a loss because it's playing against a really tough team, which we have in a lot of them in our district. But just support the kids because it means a lot to them. It really would.
I would just say thank you for welcoming us in the way that maybe parents that have been with the program for years have welcomed us in. Our booster club has really just, they have worked so hard this season. They have really got behind us and supported us and the program, and they've just been phenomenal. And I think if there's anything that Cumberland Gap Soccer Panther Nation is represented by, it's by the hard work of the parents and it's taken all of us to work really, really hard. We are behind these boys and behind these girls when they're in season, and there is no better environment to come into in soccer than the Panther Nation. I mean, they just the parents are behind us. The schools have done a lot to help us, and so we just have felt so supported, especially by our booster club and our parents, and that part's been really effortless for us.
You made me feel bad now. You said to thank you when I asked for something.
Gratitude.
Well, you can still be thankful and still ask for something.
Yeah,
it's okay. I mean, that's okay.
No. Yeah,
and they should be supporting you all. I mean, I go to Claiborne, I go to Come to the Gap sometimes and watch soccer, and sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. But you're right.
No, the booster club has been absolutely amazing.
And our athletic trainer has welcomed us so well.
Yeah,
she takes care of all of our kids so good. She does.
All right, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate you, and
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Once again, I have to thank all my partners. Without them, we couldn't do what we do. And thanks to Rex up here at the Sports Center. If you need anything athletic, you can see. I mean, he's got it. Just come up here and ask. If he ain't got it, he will get it for you. And also, thanks to First Century Bank for always being on our side and supplying our communications. Thank you. We'll see you next time, and God bless.
Bye.